What do you think you're doing? Who are you becoming? What are you trying to do with your life? That's the most important thing. And that's what he prays for us, for them and for us. That we may know his word, that we may be sanctified. Then he goes on to say, Father, protect them. You see, I don't know if you figured this out, but this world is not an easy place to live. Have you figured that out? And as if that wasn't bad enough, we have enemies. We have an enemy and other enemies. And Jesus prays for us. Jesus prayed for you that God would protect you. I have been blessed to experience that over and over again. Every once in a while somebody will tell me, stay out of trouble now. And I have to tell them, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. A pastor's job is to get right into trouble. But you see, the only way I can do that is if the Lord is protecting me. I told you about the fellow that I met in jail ministry. Helped him find the Lord and then went to visit him in his house afterwards. And Miller was a big black guy. He was a friendly guy. But his brothers who met me at the door didn't look real friendly. You know, it's interesting, we talk about racism and racial problems. I experienced those myself, but I experienced them the other way around. I was in the wrong neighborhood. I was the wrong color. And this big, mean-looking dude says to me, what do you want? And when I said I'd like to see Miller, he says, well, how do you know Miller? I met him in jail. How do you go to a house like that? How do you go to a neighborhood like that in that situation? You go there because Jesus asked God to take care of me, to protect me, and he did. Oh, I forgot one thing that he gives us. Jesus prays that God would bring a support group around us. Perfect message for a Sunday when 3 people join the church. You see, in verse 23. And there's several places down through here where God puts us on a team. He surrounds us with his people. He said, I want them to, Father, help them to know that they are part of my family. That they may be one as we are one. To know that I am with them as you are with me. And they work on it together. I am so thankful for the team that God has put around us. To hear stories of what God has been doing with my brothers and sisters around the world. And I get to be a part of a team. And then he says a couple of interesting things. He says, Father, I have shared your word with them that my joy might be in them and that their joy might be full. It's not like it's without benefits. To be doing what the Lord has asked you to do brings benefits, and one of those is joy. I want to talk about joy for a minute because it's important to understand because there's been a real misunderstanding of what joy is all about. I want to share the 3 P's of joy. I really should have my P's here to eat when the first P is. I'm never going to do that again, though. Because I did that as a memory aid, and the only thing people remembered was that I ate peas during the sermon. They don't remember what they stood for. But let me tell you the 3 P's of joy. First of all, joy is not the absence of problems. In fact, the Bible says, as we studied at men's Bible study, count it all joy when you have a lot of problems. Knowing that those things will work good things in your life. So it's not about not having problems. The second P is having a sense of purpose. You can have joy in your life if you know where you're going and you know what you're doing. If you've answered that question, what do you think you're doing? And Jesus gives us a purpose. He says, I want you to go and tell the world. And he gives you something more amazing than that. I have always been amazed that he has given me the opportunity to share such incredible good news with anybody who wants it. And that anyone, no matter who they are, what they've done or what they haven't done, anyone who says, in response to what I share with them, I would like to have Jesus in my life. He comes. What an amazing thing. I have often been amazed at the boast, really a boast that a young man made in my life when I was 17 years old. And he said to me, if you ask Jesus to come into your life, he will come into your life, he will cleanse you and save you and give you a new life. You see, the thing about that is, I can check that out, like immediately. You see all kinds of stuff on TV. Free trial for 30 days. When you get done that, you've lost 27 pounds. Well, good deal. And by the time the 30 days is up, you've forgotten where you got it, so you can't get on that case about it. But this guy said if you invite Jesus to come into your life, he will come into your life. Jesus, the Son of God. And I did, and he did. What an amazing thing. And ever since then, I've been able to say the same thing to everybody that I meet. And I have seen Jesus come into people's lives who open their heart to him. What an amazing thing. What an amazing blessing. What an amazing purpose to have the opportunity to share that with anybody. You see, there are so many people out there who say, smarten up, or work harder, or try this special program, and give it all you got. But how many people can say, I offer you the gift of life? And you can have it right now. And I have seen it happen. What an amazing... Talk about a contributor to my joy. A sense of purpose. It happened... I got to watch it happen with Hazel Farr, 103 years old. And I said, you can invite Jesus into your life, and he'll come into your life right now. I visited her on a regular basis. And she was on medications that sometimes there were other people in the room besides just the two of us. But there was nobody there that day except me and her. And when I said, if you invite Jesus into your life right now, He will make a reservation in heaven for you. I'll never forget what she says. She said, I'm 103 years old. It's probably time I made a reservation in heaven. And I said, yes, ma'am. Been in the South way too long. And all the times that I had visited her, each time I would pray before I left. But I had never heard her pray. And you know how it is? Some people just don't like to pray out loud. Have a hard time praying out loud with somebody else. But when I said, she said, what do I have to do? I said, all I have to do is pray and tell him you're interested in his coming into your life. And she did. And he did. One Easter, I gave a little message. I gave a little invitation.